In the early stages of a relationship, a man often speaks with total transparency. He shares his ambitions, the daily pressures of his career, and the specific worries that weigh on him when he's alone. Then the frequency changes. He becomes quieter. His answers to simple questions become brief and guarded, and he insists that everything is fine, even when the atmosphere in the room suggests otherwise. Conventional wisdom often tells women that this withdrawal is a clear sign of fading interest. The standard advice suggests he is intentionally creating distance or has emotionally checked out of the partnership. This perspective assumes that silence is a choice driven by a lack of care. But by focusing only on the lack of words, we miss the specific events that often trigger this retreat in the first place. When a man who once shared everything suddenly stops, we have to look at whether the act of opening up has become a source of emotional risk. This emotional shutdown rarely begins with a major conflict. It typically takes root during ordinary, everyday conversations that neither person would consider a turning point. It starts when he takes a small risk. He might admit he's overwhelmed by a project at work, or confess a fear of failing. If met with a well-meaning, "you're overthinking it," it shatters the attempt at connection. These quick fixes act as a barrier. When vulnerability meets immediate solutions, he feels judged. The conversation makes him feel like a problem to be solved. He begins to internalize a new lesson. Talking about his struggles doesn't lead to support. It leads to a deeper sense of isolation. This retreat is built by the steady accumulation of these small, minimized moments. Every time he feels unheard, the incentive to speak up again diminishes. This pattern is reinforced by a lifetime of conditioning. Since childhood, most men are taught that emotional resilience means carrying difficult feelings in silence. Phrases like "man up" or "handle it yourself" train them to view seeking help as a sign of weakness. They become experts at managing heavy emotional loads without ever acknowledging they are carrying them. This weight compounds over time. Even when the burden becomes significant, internalizing pressure remains the default. If he asks for help and is told it isn't that bad, he stops reaching out. He loses the belief anyone can recognize what he's carrying. This is why a man might bury himself in work or disappear into a hobby. He isn't necessarily pulling away from the person he loves. He's trying to manage a load he doesn't know how to share. These behaviors are often the only way he knows how to express exhaustion or fear. They are the external symptoms of an internal battle he hasn't found the words for yet. When we misinterpret these signals as a lack of affection, we inadvertently reinforce his belief that his internal world is better left unshared. Improving the connection begins with the environment surrounding the conversation. Honest sharing only happens when the person speaking feels that it is consistently safe to be vulnerable. If the expectation is that every admission of worry will be met with criticism, defensive posturing, or an immediate list of solutions, silence becomes the most logical defense. The shift requires moving away from the role of a problem solver and toward the role of a curious listener. 3 simple words can change the entire dynamic. Tell me more. When these words are paired with patient, silent listening, they signal that his experience is being witnessed without being judged or managed. Trust in this safety is built slowly. Every time a struggle is met with genuine curiosity rather than a quick fix, it provides new evidence that sharing is actually worth the risk. The strongest partnerships aren't defined by an absence of struggle. They are defined by an atmosphere where exposing a weakness never results in a loss of respect. Choosing understanding over judgment is what allows a relationship to grow stronger through its challenges, rather than slowly drifting apart under the weight of things left unsaid.